There it is. Thank you.
Welcome.
There's Mayor Robin Bobin saving the day.
Thank you.
He always comes through in a big
Robin Bobbin.
The greatest of the widest of nerds. Hey man, thank you. I could see that. I could even see that it wasn't moving, and I didn't care. I just moved on.
What are we even doing?
I didn't even check. I didn't even check for it. I could just do hours and hours. Beautiful faces. That's fine. Also, Nathan looks very far away. Looks like a very small little person. Oh, you're fine, dude. Well, you're not though. You look too tiny, Nathan.
So small.
I'm gonna zoom you in. I'm gonna zoom you in real good.
You look too tiny.
You look a wee bit tiny there, friend.
Looking to get small.
Where'd you go?
Can't figure the video, please.
Ferret.
Okay. Oh man, my mouse is like
Do
having.
you want my mouse pad?
I don't think it's that. I think my computer just has too many things plugged into it and does not like it. Oh my god, this is a nightmare right now.
What can I do? Help?
Nathan's just gonna have to be tiny. That's just.
I love being tiny.
Oh.
I'll scoot closer to the table.
You look about the same size as Bryce. It's fine.
About the same.
Ah!
Oh my
What
goodness,
happened
puppy
there?
dog.
You pulled out her hair.
Oh yeah, you were under my chair.
Oh.
Poor
Oh.
ladybird.
It's a good old
Ouch.
chunk.
That's ins-
Oh,
Oh no.
all right. Well, that looks not
Dear
so tiny. So.
baby.
No.
You make a lovely
All
look.
right. Watch out.
Ew.
Okay. Well, that my friends, is
Tito
D&D.
Day.
Dungeons
Sweet
and
bird.
dogs.
Rainy.
That's a lot of hair.
I know.
It's funny. Poor girl. She seems fine.
She's fine.
She's a dog. You
Yeah.
can do anything to them. But you should.
They're resilient.
Scared the shit out of you.
Quit picking me.
I don't even know why I'm looking at this.
I am going to just try my computer real quick. Oh, this is the worst. Oh no. All right. Well, I just locked the computer. I'm sure we just ended the stream.
What's happening?
Ah! The ship's exploding.
Are we still live? I can't even tell anymore.
Well, I will go and check it out.
Pinch yourself.
Oh man.
We are live.
I'm sure.
I'm on the screen. Oh, no. Here's an ad.
Oh,
It's fine.
no, we're fine. We're still there. Okay.
Oh, here's an ad.
I can't do anything about this right now.
Darn your neck.
Okay. Everything looks a little better on my end. Okay, we can play D&D now.
Hey.
All right. So in the last session, so you have to figure out how you're going to obtain tickets on this Starliner. You're going to have to avoid detection by these orcs, who once they Adam has had a lot of experience with these orcs. These orcs, specifically this gang of orcs, has been chasing Adam's family unit for, I don't know, at least the last, like I said, it does everything in measurements of distance, so it's really hard for you to understand what that means. But he makes it sound like a long time.
Sure.
But he also has a kind of a childlike nature to his the way he speaks, so it could just be that his scope is too small to kind of understand anything beyond that. But he does explain that once they kind of decide that you're a target, there's no like turning back on that. It's all on, honor bound, stupid bullshit where they have to prove to themselves that they can't be bested. They're like predators a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit of that predator vibe going on in a way that's just more than them just coming to planets and being hunters. Predator Klingons.
Whoa.
Oh, he's stuck in a loop.
Pull up, man.
Klingons!
Pull out.
He's stuck in a loop. We
No.
gotta stop him.
I'm broken. Okay.
I'm better now.
In this this outpost, which is just called Folly, it's the only town in Folly. You can find a general store as well, and maybe a few other establishments. But it's mostly just a little people come to pick up deliveries planet side here and refill their their ships with energy and do that kind of thing. So do you guys? How are you gonna do this? How are you gonna get there?
That's a very broad question.
Very carefully.
We'd like to carefully get on the ship.
Can I roll
Avoiding
a
the
careful?
Well, you'll have to. Basically, you're gonna have to go through one checkpoint here on the planet, and get on a small ship that will take you to this platform ship that is the final transport that actually reaches and nests inside the Starliner.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to fool somebody, kill somebody, steal something, hack something. There are in my head 10 ways you guys could go about this. So
Okay.
whatever you think might work is probably.
Tickets are physical, like paper.
You have to. They are attuned to your rune device,
Oh.
so you have to. They just transmit in close proximity via Bluetooth-ish kind of.
Okay.
Now you can falsify those, but that would require a hacking into the database that contains all the tickets, which would be inside the post office.
Damn post office. Most secure place in the galaxy.
It's really not. It's probably just. And if you guys are just kind of casing the place, kind of casually walking around this tiny town, she just, as she's scanning, you just kind of look at it, and you can see that there's only one. There's one auto that basically runs the whole place, and it is a centralized unit that sits inside of a round desk. So it has this big television head with multiple monitors, and it makes different faces on them, and it has all these different arms, and it's literally running pneumatic tubes. This place looks like it's being held together with fishing wire as a structure as a whole, and this robot was not built to do this. This is some sort of repurposed industrial building tool that has been makeshiftly made the postmaster here, and that's what they call him. He's the postmaster, and but he's literally dealing with and he's yelling, and he sounds like Norm Macdonald.
Hey,
He's just get that damn cat off those boxes, and just so it wouldn't be incredibly hard. You can tell he's plugged in to a relay network that bounces back to the Destro core symbol. So you could hijack the signal probably. Adam doesn't have any advanced communication software integrated into him yet, so he can't manifest it himself. You could also hack into the console itself, but you have to actually distract the robot. You guys could perform some bounties. There's a whole list of stupid trash you could do. It's long and grindy and boring, but you could do that.
Bounties in exchange for tickets? Is that what
Exchange for gold. There's
That's a lot of gold. I would like a lot of gold, but
I think
Can
we
you
should try to hack
fabricate-
the terminal, and by we I mean you.
obviously.
Yeah. Are you capable of fabricating tickets?
I will try.
Do you have a printer interface built into you yet?
That seems unlikely.
Roll a. What do we associate your scanning with? Was it engineering or hacking? Do you have a hacking skill?
Hacking was charisma.
Cool. So go ahead and give me a charisma roll then, or hacking or whatever.
Not so hacky.
Not so much.
Oh,
6.
I don't have an inspiration.
You can't see any just kind of walking around using your newfound heads-up display that your brain kind of integrates into your field of vision. You can see there are plenty of access points. They're all analog. You'll have to actually get in. It's going to be really hard to deal with the signal itself. So if you wanted to hack in, and it's like an old school network. So you're gonna have to plug in. You'll have to do your astral projection. You'll have to actually go inside the machine. You can take everybody with you, but you're all vulnerable while you're plugged in via her. So it's probably better that at least one person stands guard, everybody stands guard, depending on where you look, with that low of a roll, the only place you know for sure that you can hack in is in the main console right behind the postmaster. And the postmaster can rotate 360 degrees around it, so it would be a matter of keeping him on one side of the counter and trying to play a really funny scene of getting the robot not to move to the other side of where you're
Notice
in.
him.
Yeah.
Distract.
You could do that.
Distract him.
You could also threaten him. I don't know. You can do different.
So you all have been to, what's the central planet called?
Realm.
Realm. How did you get out here? Did it take long?
They traveled on starliners. A starliner very similar to this.
How long did
Not as nice as this, but.
How long did it take? How far are we from Rome?
You are only a matter of 4 like void gates. Like there's arcane gates that the larger ships and the corporate owned ships can move through that like bend reality like a tesseract, and allow them just to kind of move from one point to the other. Moving through space at warp speed is only available with, or hyperspeed is only available with the void drives, and that's not super common.
Okay.
So they would have. The route you're on now is very similar to the one they traveled this way. He was purely running to the outer rim to escape her, and she just kept following him.
Cool. So Z has a box and he's put some rocks in it. And what's the planet in the known systems that's as far as you can get from here?
I'll kill you.
A planet specifically?
Post office box, more specifically.
Yeah, I got you. You could do on the opposite side of the void. There is a dead space nebula that sits like on the back end of the void. That is one of the brightest points in the void.
Perfect.
And it just has a designation.
Great. So I am going to
But I'm gonna call it
propose.
Dead Space Nebula.
Yeah, I like that. Sounds great. I'd like to propose that I speak with this postmaster and attempt to post this package to the Dead Space Nebula. And knowing the bureaucratic nonsense that is the corporations, this should take a while.
That sounds like good fleshy logic, and I'm ready to hack.
Okay, cool. So that's your distraction.
The distraction is posting this package.
Alright, because you don't have any access to the web, you can't like verify this place.
That's great.
You've never been here.
Even better.
So that will add some confusion at the front end, but could potentially on the back end make it obvious that. So I'm gonna give him probably 2 checks for free, and then you'll have to make another check to keep him on his path.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. You, on the other hand, just need to go ahead and plug in, and I don't know.
Gotta remember how to do that.
I think it's more of just a choice. You just say that you're doing it. I think
Okay,
you have
one
to.
to connect and
Lucy.
another one to enter.
Lucy kind of comes over toward you and just kind of stands near you as if to like have your back, since you can't pay attention to having your own back right now. You're obviously hacking.
So both of you guys need to roll me stealths then. You can stand on the one side of the counter opposite of her, which is less conspicuous, so you can kind of obscure her with your backs.
Yeah.
But
Help her stealth is what I'm going for.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll with advantage on your stealth because she's kind of blocking your.
Oh, do I roll?
Yeah, you're gonna roll stealth too, just to blend in.
I'm so freaking stealthy.
8.
8. Yeah, so you cover her, and there are some trollkin walking by, and they look at you, and you kind of like give them a look, and they kind of like scowl, and you just are like kind of scowling at her, and she steps over the counter and like and when that happens, you just like flash a smile out of like what, and the trolls walk away. Right as that happens, you slam the box on the counter.
One package to Dead Space Nebula.
And the postmaster says, "Oh, what?" And he kind of spins, and as he does, kind of away from and he pivots. So now you're on the opposite side. Go ahead and roll me that You just have to connect. So you have to use an action to connect, and that's just kind of like however you want it to be. Like you plug in somehow of a cord or something, and then as another action, then you can designate who's going to go in the system with you, and then you can push into it. So if it's just you, we'll push in, and when you do that, it's almost like you just blink, and when you open your eyes, you are in a different phase of reality. It's a virtual world. It looks very it's got lots of green lines and whatnot, and very rudimentary style graphics. But as you walk through the space, it starts to change into a space familiar to whoever programmed it until it becomes the perfect replica of a just like a small quaint cottage, and you can see out the window that there is a black and purple and green meadow that's this the colors are all off, but it's this beautiful landscape. It gives it otherworldliness. You know that the confines of this construct are this room. There's no space beyond these windows. If you interact with it, it's a very small room. So somewhere in this room is the place where you would find the tickets or the manifest for the ship, but you have basically we're going to go in rounds. So we're gonna let you interact with the space. We'll cut back to you guys. What do you want to do? So in this space there is a nightstand, there is a dresser, and there is there's a television, and there's a hamper and a bed.
Nightstand.
All right.
It has drawers, right?
Yeah. Inside the drawers is 15 gold coins,
Nice.
which you can take with you.
Great. Try and putting in my personal account because nobody else is here.
There you go.
That's the perfect time to do that.
That is the perfect time to do that. Nothing else in that drawer. We'll cut back in the real world. So you're kind of looking down at her. She's plugged in. She's out of it. And on the other side of the counter, you're the postmaster's like, well, you just put a system. This isn't even a full address. It's like, where do you want this to go?
Well, I
You're
need
wasting my
it
time,
to get
man.
to Ned. Ned in the Dead Space Nebula.
There can't be that many Neds, and the Neds. And he starts click. He's got
Can't be that many.
he's got 12 arms, so he's just looking through these things. He's looking, and he says there are 372 Neds, and he pulls down another monitor, and he's like, pick from this list.
Okay, I don't read so well. I'm looking for someone with the last name that begins with, I think it's an alpha, an A. On the
I
alphabet.
think he just pulls up taps on the very first name on the list.
Do you have pictures?
And he taps on the screen, and it's a guy's face.
Great. He had a mustache. I don't see a mustache.
He starts looking through pictures. All right, we'll cut back to
He's just
to you in the. What I'm gonna do though is I want you to help on. I want you to do the next one.
Okay.
And then we'll go and make a check. Something else will happen on the other side, so it won't just be interactions with.
Funny.
It'll be more like a scene going with everybody. All right, we'll cut back to the room.
More drawers, I guess.
Yeah, so you go up to the desk. The desk drawer is locked.
I should be able to do something with that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's locked with a
Pick
padlock.
that lock.
Wait,
Pick
a
that
padlock
padlock.
is... Yeah, you can pick a padlock, right?
Yeah, you pick a padlock.
Pick
Pick a padlocks.
If you have a lot
In this world, I'm still... I mean, everything still works the same, right?
You expand your mind and realize there is no spoon.
But this is what I mean, though. If in real life I have my mechanical...
So it's all going to be dependent
Doodads.
on the program that you're infiltrating.
Okay.
You're inside a code, and your interface allows you to visualize this in a way that makes sense for your brain. So there isn't actually a desk there or a padlock.
Okay.
But...
And especially since this is my first time.
Yeah,
now.
for sure. But do you want to just try to whack the padlock off with your robot arm?
Go,
Just
Yeah.
make an attack roll against the desk.
What's my strength? Is that? Oh, right. 19.
Now you smack the desk real good. You pop off the lock, And you split the top half of the desk, just wood it like apart, and you're able to just pull open the drawer, ripping it back. Your robot arm, and there is a manifest inside. It's like an old-fashioned for old boats. Just and you can see on the desk there is a picture of the Starliner that you guys are about to go on. Nautical theme.
Good old boat. Old boat.
Why don't you go ahead and cut back outside before we make you make a roll to see if you can successfully hack the staff.
Funnier
which will
the
be easy.
fifth time.
Just make a check on it now that you found it.
Glad you
Cool. So yeah, you're going through the list. You're like, no, not that one. Behind you, you see in the doorway the bright light of the sun. Remember, it's really hot outside. This is a magically temperature-controlled room. It's very nice inside here. Mm-hmm. So it gets crowded with people who are just kind of like hanging out, way between ships or their deliveries or whatever. And the doorway's light is blocked and broken by a humongous form, a silhouette of a humanoid that's at least 8 feet tall. Which would probably, as you look at the door, just freak you out because it's definitely it's an orc.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Shit! And I'm gonna try to just kind of fade into the crowd.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and if you push back, go ahead and make me a stealth check. But
no,
the orc is not looking.
21.
Yeah, that's fine. So it doesn't see you, but mostly because it's looking for the postmaster. It's making its way right to the terminal right now. There's
an orc coming right towards you. He's right behind you.
Okay, cool. Well, after she lets the dogs in, we'll go back to you. Why don't you guys make a hacking roll to see if you can.
Nat 20.
Nice. Yeah. So you.
I think I did it.
Yeah, you open up the page, and there's the manifest of all the stuff that's going in, as well as a guest list, a passenger list, and you're able to just go ahead and add your names into the list, just adding the data. And when you do, you put the book back, and you close the drawer, but it doesn't fix or anything. So the evidence of you coming into this space and smashing open their system will be evident for the next person who interfaces with this, even if they just look at the code and stuff. So, what spells? What 0 levels you got?
I don't know what words you just said to me.
What 0 level spells you got over
0 level spells. Mending.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect. It repairs a single break. Was this a clean break?
No, it can repair items. It's just the more intricate the break, the longer it takes.
Okay.
That's my ruling. So this is a simple break, nice and clean. You split it in half. It will take one more round, so we'll cut back outside. He just notified the group of orcs walking in the doorway. You don't really have any way of knowing if they're associated with you, so why don't you go ahead, kind of over the group, seeing them. Why don't you make an investigation or an insight and try to figure out if you should be worried about these orcs, because they could just be other orcs. They could be just other space orc marauders.
16.
You notice that it's not just an orc, but it also two Trollkin marauders, which are their enforcers that they use. They're not full trolls. They're trolls and orcs that have been interbred, and they use magic science. So they normally have a modification. Trolls are super malleable, genetically speaking. You can enhance them very easily, and the orcs have taken advantage of this to make specialized mercenary troopers. So these guys specifically will have something. Each of them will have a unique ability. Every time you see a different Trollkin marauder, they always have a different gimmick.
Cool.
And then the orc, as you see him, he's wearing a leather vest that has a patch on it with the same eye and the flame. So yes, you need to be worried about these orcs. He is pale-skinned and has those round binocular goggles, but they were like grafted into his skin. So he's got cybernetic implants. He looks like a big bad news bears. He doesn't have a weapon on him. None of them have weapons on them. But they are coming into the space. Do you want to? This guy's about to pass by the group that you're right behind, and about to be right up to where he is.
Yeah. I tell everybody we got trouble.
He already told everybody that you guys have trouble. You're reacting to the trouble.
Right, but I just decided that we should worry about them. My role
That's
was...
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking.
I get it. You relay that they are indeed the orcs.
They are indeed bad guys.
Yes, we are.
I mean, am I worried about... I'm not sure what the consequences are.
She is hacking the mainframe right now.
Just that they'll see her?
The orcs are hunting you guys.
Oh, right.
So that's a conflict.
I see.
You're in the middle of hacking. She's hacking this thing. You're trying to provide cover for that. That might not be a problem to this, but they could. She's defenseless right now. She could be She could be killed just by somebody grabbing her neck and like snapping.
Right.
They would have to just take an action to kill her.
Yeah.
Mechanically speaking, that would never happen. I would never do that.
I want to...
Oh, by the way, there's a guy behind you.
That's it, the end. See you, bye.
I want to throw a dart at him because it's a little inconspicuous in this public place.
Sure, if you have darts, you can throw
Yeah, I've
darts
got
at him.
10 darts.
All right, cool.
I'm trying to throw one in his neck. I don't know what to do in this moment, I guess.
Like you're walking by him and he's like beelining over there, and you're just gonna throw
Looking
a dart
at
at him
him,
and at the direction behind him, which would make him turn around
Yeah.
or like.
Clear, it's not necessarily that he's beeline for me. It's that he's going to the desk.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
He doesn't know that you're there per se,
Right.
but once he gets there, he'll see it, and depending on what they know about you guys, that's the variable.
Right.
You don't know how much.
You just pull
I
one of
don't
these
know
things
what
as
it
he walks up.
Mumbling real quick to all
Just
the
turn and
they've
walk
never
away.
seen us play it cool.
So you throw the dart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you throw the dart.
But I don't want him to know it was me. Like, obviously, like, oh, where'd the dart come from?
I know.
Not like, hey, orc!
I get that.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. This is what I'm doing.
Highly trained assassin.
I'm gonna say that the
I'm
dart's
just
gonna
gonna
hit.
try to buy you guys some time.
The dart's gonna hit fine. I'm not worried about it hitting him because he's not prepared to be hit. Roll is stealth to see how well you don't reveal yourself, because you do have like a crowd between you,
Not 20.
so it's not completely out of this world what you're trying to propose. And what she does is she looks at you guys. She's like, "Oh no, we got a problem." And she's looking right at you, and she just like chucks a dart behind her.
Yeah, I don't want to look.
Without looking, and maintaining eye contact with you.
And you're like, they've never seen us.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And with that, the orc, he turns around and he grabs the dart. They're just regular darts, right?
yeah, they're not
So you take
poison
the
or
dart,
anything.
Have your name on him.
No.
Monogrammed.
Right.
These were given to my mother whenever I graduated Assassin's School.
No, they're just completely normal darts.
Okay.
Your run of the mill.
Yeah, so he growls and he says something in Orcish. Does anybody speak Orcish?
I do.
Okay, well then you can understand it. You guys, you're probably just out of ear's sight because you're a little bit closer to him. I imagine in my head. Are you still by him, or do you want to move closer?
I'm behind. I don't know. I was just in the middle of the crowd.
You
like,
were,
fighting
and
amongst people.
now if you stay in the middle of that crowd, you're going to be on the outside of the circle, kind of far away from everybody, not able to help or react. So if you want to get closer,
I kind of followed them.
Okay,
like,
yeah. So you can at this point, and when he turns, you can choose to either veer off to the left and get clumped up with Lucy, sorry. Get clumped up with Lucy, or you can veer to the right and you can go back to the counter and try to.
Yeah,
there.
I see. Chester's the coward, so he's gonna duck
Okay,
and
cool.
go over there. They're gonna be like,
Yeah, so you duck over there.
I am in such good hands.
The orc just like kind of stamps around, and he passes by you. And in Orcish, he says, "Do it." And the one of the trolls next to him, the trollkin, they when I say trollkin, they look like people more than trolls. That's what a trollkin is. It's just like a half. A troll's a big, large-sized creature, so a trollkin is going to be a humanoid. They're a little bit lankier, and they tend to have. These guys are always going to have like a weird modification to them. One of them doesn't have a mouth, and has a series of like tubes that have a glowing energy placed around his neck. And then the one that he said do it to it has a third eye that opens when he says do it, and he looks around the space. As he looks past you two, make me a dex save to see if you can avert his gaze.
I just imagine you like putting up a mustache or something like.
But like really cool, like
Yeah.
this always works.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you are sly as
scared me.
hell, girl. Come on in.
What up?
Oh, that didn't work.
Nice.
A special
Oh,
guest
baby.
appearance.
Come, grab a chair.
15.
15. Cool. What did you roll?
An 8.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, then that's fine. We don't need to see what the other side does because he stops looking. You just roll back and turn your back to him. As soon as you look, the eye opens up and you're like, that's interesting. And
Whoa,
you
hey.
get even closer. And when you do, the trollkin kind of looks around and he goes, over there. And all three of these guys like pull out their hands. You can see they have like cool fingerless gloves, the way bad guys do.
They pull out their hands.
They pull out their
Hands.
They snap.
And they each of them they produce holographic blasters. So they just
Oh,
they
Wait,
Like,
no,
I'm
there's no need
serious.
for that, gentlemen. And I'm gonna like move out from away from them and be like,
I'm in the crowd now.
and be like, please don't shoot. There's not we're not the people you're looking for.
Oh, when they do this, when this happens, the half the crowd runs, right? Like there's normal people there. The other half all pull out swords and like guns and crossbows and harpoon guns. I mean, there's all sorts of weird creatures and yeah, like all sorts of weird things in this space. And when that happens, you're kind of left alone. This crowd that you were behind is now,
Yeah.
they're either a ring of people who are trying to figure out who
To kill.
yeah, or not, you know,
Yeah,
they need to get
for
involved.
sure.
Everyone else left.
I'm in that crowd of
Just left the
people,
desk.
letting, like, just trying to blend in and be part of the crowd.
You-
Letting them.
Great white nerd said, "Yes, Chester, save the day." You're like, no, we're not the people. And the troll came with the third eye. He looks at him.
We're not the people.
Yeah, he's like, we're not the
No,
ones. Are you gonna cast a spell?
I'm trying to. Hold on one second.
Just gonna talk.
No, I'm just gonna.
That's good though. That's fine.
That's what wizards are here for.
I'm cheering with the crowd, like,
I'm a
yeah,
professor."
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna cast friends on it, on the one that's like
Okay.
as I open at me.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Rainy.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna roll persuasion, I guess.
All right, very cool.
No, it's not us. It's one of these other ones. Look, I don't have any weapons. This is ridiculous. I am a scholar, and I should be respected as such from one of... And he just goes off and continues on that. He rolls a 16, persuasion.
Let's see. So you cast friends, and when you do, does it give you advantage?
Yeah,
Right?
and
Yeah, that's awesome. He looks at you and kind of like, yeah, you're kind of pathetic, right?
Look at me!
And he's like,
You think I'm dangerous?
he turns back around and he smacks the trollkin in the face.
Oh,
who
my God.
who told him that you were, and he barks at it to go to find them. So their weapons disappear, and those trolls
Chester, you did
they
it.
split up and go into the crowd or go over to the counter. Now the problem now is that all your cover has passed, and the postmaster is pulled away from you. So he's about to turn and be just a head's turn away from seeing her. But you get to unplug, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so you
Just in the nick of time.
yeah, you repair the desk and you kind of zoom back out and you're back in meat space. And why don't you just make a stealth check real quick to see if you can.
I've been doing really well.
Hey, the whole time.
To try to pull his
Yeah.
attention back. I also need some stamps.
Stamps. We haven't used stamps since the 3rd century.
You know, the
You
hollow
piece.
Oh wait,
stamps.
do you have stamps? Did you say stamps? I've been looking
He's,
for
and he's like,
stamps.
"Are you? This is like a museum to you guys?" And as he says that, like one of the walls just like falls over because it's all old.
It was an 8.
And as you, because I just described that big piece of sheet metal falling, you tumble over the desk again, but it's no problem. And you have the tickets, and you run around the corner, and basically you can just like hollow them out and be like, we'll be picking up our passes. They give you wristbands to get on the ship outside.
Good day. Yes, thank
yeah.
you, man.
And the you start kind of doing your thing. He puts the bands on you, and you all start to walk away. He's like, what about your package? He says you haven't paid me for this yet.
Oh, did you tell me what the rate was?
Well, we have to figure that out. He says that could take probably an hour or two. He's like, come back over here.
Great, you guys go ahead. I'll be right behind you. This is very important.
Okay, so you guys make your way out, and as soon as you do, probably run at least to the other side of the building. The orc, the trollkin with the third eye is still inside the space. The second trollkin has decided to check with the people who have ran outside. So, yeah.
Find Adam, by the way.
Right, and we're
Nobody
gonna
knows what the hell we
casual
did with
walk like away.
Nothing to see here.
Adam
Nothing to
is
see here.
currently right by the front door. He's been looking at the missing persons board. He's quite sad. He's like,
Aw.
yeah, he's like, and as you come up, he's like, all these souls lost in the cosmos, and you're like, come on.
I'm like, put my arm around him. Like,
He's
let's go,
It's
friend.
so sad.
No,
your,
go.
life,
Let's go.
your life's so finite.
Stop! No,
and
let's go
short.
of the thing. No, come on.
You pull him away from it, and he follows you outside. And just as you do that, this other troll kid, he sees the Voidwalker. That's what they're looking for. They just walked right by him because their eyes had to adjust to the difference in light. So
Cheerio, I'm gonna just like shove it and we're gonna run.
All right. So what do you do? He's gonna finish the bureaucratic red
Gotta
tape
figure out some
and
red
catch
tape
up
here.
with him later.
Yeah.
I'll let you spend a hero point to just dramatically pop in later on.
That's what I would like to do.
Okay, cool. So yeah, he stays behind. he can pop in back
You're
into
not
the
gonna
store.
spend our money on that, right?
I turned off.
Are you with him or did you go with us?
I went with you guys.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you guys are all outside, and as you do, the trollkin with
But I'm
the,
having
doesn't have a mouth. He's got like this like metal apparatus.
Yeah.
You hear him go like, it's this weird metallic sound, and it's you don't know what language it is, but he points at you guys, and you all start running. He pulls out his guns, and he's going to start
Oh,
firing.
no.
If you want to roll an initiative,
Everybody?
whoever's outside,
How far away are they from me?
they are 100 feet.
Okay, great. I sent my
23.
ferret with them.
Nice. What?
23.
23? Alright. Anybody roll higher than 23?
Nope.
Okay, then you get to go first, Chester.
Cool.
So yeah, they're doing those. They're about to like fire at you guys.
Cool.
Just the one at this moment, but as soon as he starts blasting, the other two will make a break for the door. You can hear as soon as from where your perspective, Z, when he made that noise, both of them earpieced and started making their way to the door.
I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna put my hand on my book and I'm gonna cast Shatter on targeting his hands.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
For sure.
I
Does
guess
he have to
because
make
he uses psionic guns, doesn't he? Is it
No,
like,
no, they're hard light projector guns, so they make simple blasters. They do like D4. They're real rudimentary, but they get you past like they can take them through like special arcana detectors and stuff because they're real low magic. What do they have to make a save for Shatter?
Yeah.
Con save?
Yeah.
The item does?
No, it does actually. It makes a.
I don't
Save.
think you can target items with a lot of spells that creatures are carrying or holding.
Can I see the book again?
Yes.
Oh, it's a creature. Okay. No, doesn't mean. Oh yeah, if it's being worn or carried, it doesn't count. So okay.
But I'll let you target just them.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's a 10-foot radius, so
yeah.
I'll just target him.
Yes. Cool. And they make con saves.
Yeah.
Well, they fail miserably. What's your spell save? Just for my notes.
15.
Yeah, they fail pretty bad.
I'm gonna change the damage though
Okay.
to from thunder damage to acid damage.
Oh God, that's crazy. So the you cast the spell, and as you do, their clothes start to like all the metal like on their apparatus starts to like shift and rip apart. And then as it shatters, it just starts to foam and fizzle, as if once the spell kind of takes foments and shifts.
That's awesome.
And when that happens, you really fuck up the orc. One of his prosthetic eyes gets kind of like melted all the way through. Their gloves with their weapons are completely like burned and melted through, so they can't produce the magical guns anymore.
Awesome.
They're all fucked up. The how much damage do they take?
15 acids. Acid damage.
The orc, he's got a nice big burn now, like a serious like Arnold Schwarzenegger T2 vibe going on. But you notice that the trolls seem fine. Their skin almost seems to absorb the acid. And you are now. Do you want to move? Keep running?
Yeah.
There we go. So. Cool. They're going to use their interrupt point, and the orc is going to, in Orcish, basically explain that the last one to attack the little wimp, because now the friends doesn't work anymore.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. The little wimp will get a promotion. Yeah. So, and when he says that, both of the trolls are going to take both of their move actions to get right on top of you.
Oh shit.
So they catch up with you, and they can't do anything, but they're right on top of you when they start the next turn.
Are they behind us?
Yeah, they're like running behind you, and you just kind of see them like they just like double the pace. They're real like slender and kind of like pretty scary looking. And you like jump and dodge, and they're going to get right on top of you. The orc is going to run up his speed and just to maintain the pace. Well, I guess he can. Oh no, he can bonus action. Yeah, nice. No, he's gonna fucking be up on you too. He bonus actions with his aggressive. He's going to pull out a what looks like a baseball bat. He twists the bat, and a double-sided glowing battle axe, neon battle axe, comes out, and he's just basically, for my family, for our privilege. It's just a bunch of like death metal bullshit, and he even turns on a little death metal. No, he does not do that. But he does run up, and there will be death metal playing, and he is going to try to attack you.
No.
What's your AC?
12.
He's going to hit you with a battle axe.
Oh no. Chester.
No, Chester.
Oh no, Chester.
It's a D12. All right.
Axed you right in the face.
Oh damn, he's so strong. It's a D12.
Axe in the face.
This guy's strong as fudge. All right, this D8 will do fine. 3, 10. It's going to be 17 slashing damage.
Cool. I take that 17 damage, and I activate my bracer of auto-retaliatory missiles. And I'm going to spend 3 charges to cast magic missile at 3rd level.
Oh, cool.
Sweet.
At whom?
Him. It has to hit him.
Pop,
So.
pop, pop. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, cool. Then roll those damagers.
All those damages.
I need some D4s.
Roll those damages.
Every D4 on the table.
Existence. All the D4s.
17 force damage.
Cool.
Nice.
That's what he dealt you.
Yeah. Take it.
Sweet.
Soulmates.
That's really cute.
Awesome. All right. Who do you want to pass the turn to?
I'm right. Do what you are trying to do. Help me! I'm like bleeding.
Yeah.
Is she trying to kill you?
Yeah.
Well, just people in general. Where are you? Why are you not here?
Who's
What's up?
You're at the
Finish
front of
this
this
up.
pack
This
because
is
you're the
important.
fastest of all the runners. So
Right.
you probably are like
But they're
making
chasing
your way
us.
to the bus. It's not that far away. It's just like in Force Awakens when they're running out of that place and they're like trying to make it go. But except in this case, the people you're like going, he's like stopped to like cast magic. Just got hit by an axe.
Yeah.
I feel like you would be like
Yeah.
almost 30 feet away from him. Like, what the fuck are you doing back there?
I imagine that the troll people are still chasing me.
No, they're all up on him.
They're all on you.
Yeah, they got up right on him, and then he like
I
as
gotcha.
he screamed, showing them basically that he can do their job better than him,
Mm-hmm.
or he can do her job better.
So they're
than them.
like 30 feet away from me now?
Yeah, they're all like 30 feet away from you.
Okay.
And he just his bracer just fired a bunch of magic missiles, so the orc just kind of got pushed back.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop where I'm at and pull out
Pull out my gun.
Ghost and that slug thrower if I can.
Sure.
Well, is that dual wielding?
You,
I'm gonna take 2 attacks.
yeah.
So
you
can I
can't- you
flavor
can't-
it like
you,
that?
You can only use one gun.
Okay.
As in your kin side
Cool.
form.
Then I'll
you can make an extra attack with the gun. No, you would have to take the crossbow expert. That's
'Kay.
If you will take crossbow expert, you can grab another gun. You can go crazy. That's
Then I'm just going to fire ghost at the orc. Yeah,
Oh, it has a name.
passive ghost.
that's my passive ghost.
Disappointing.
It's the name of my blast, my recaster. Oof.
Only a shot ghost. You just wait, Nathan.
Well, that's not good. 8 to hit.
You rolled a 13.
I rolled a 13. Oh wait, I rolled a 13.
You rolled
He's
a
letting-
13.
he's
so
letting
you-
anything.
He's letting you know.
Nice.
Um,
Not 20 to hit.
All right. For that to work though, you have to be like, it has to be like you popping up out of nowhere and like tapping her gun. Like if
Can
just.
I be like just watching through the ferret as I deal with his mind-numbing things?
Yeah, that's fine. The ferret runs up onto the arm, and right as you're about to fire, it like bounces on the arm and causes you to click over.
Perfect.
Makes it, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
I
God.
love it.
Thank you.
I'm fine with that. It just
Yeah.
has to be a connection to the.
Oh, absolutely. Sorry, I will do better.
No. You should feel bad. You've done bad things. Hey,
Can I
Nicole.
have one more?
Come get in this frame.
Yeah, get in here.
Come
Can I
get in
get
this
a
frame.
D8?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ghost
frame?
does
Peeking around.
Yeah, great.
sweet.
Did you want to play, or are you just gonna draw and hang
I'm
out?
just gonna do it all and hang out.
That sounds great.
Missed you guys.
19
Been a while.
damage with
19
this,
damage.
with Ghost Recaster.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I would like to spend a key point
Mm-hmm.
to do Flurry of Blows,
Yeah.
which means I get to fire 2 more times.
You can, or you can run up and punch him twice.
Ooh.
So you can have fired and then run and kick,
Yeah.
both the trolls off of him if you want to.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you shot the orc.
Great. Yes, with the gun.
Yeah. So,
And
she
then
runs up and make your 2 attacks. Attack against third eye.
17,
That hits. Against rebreather.
15 plus 7.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
The whole plaza game.
I
That's what.
can I borrow that D8 one more time? Actually, never mind. I should grab one more.
You have so many dice.
I know. I don't know why I'm asking.
I don't know why you're asking. This is the plaza. I do know why you're asking.
Okay, one troll gets 12 damage.
Okay.
The other one gets 13.
Shit.
Awesome. You fire and blast Third eye, you got a bulk of that acid damage. You just shoot him and he's dead. He just falls to the ground. You can have a hero point.
Yes.
Actually, you can all have a hero point for having pulled off that little data heist. That was a fun little moment.
Data heist.
And that's a great. That's exactly the kind of like scenes I like, or like a fun little multi-panel cut back and forth. That's a great.
What do I do about my ammo die again?
So it needs to
I
be
roll it
fire.
3 times, basically?
No, you're gonna roll. Yeah, you're gonna. But you have to do them in sequence.
7.
Okay, so it stays the same.
7.
Stays the same.
2.
2 goes down to a d6. D6.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
All right, cool. Who do you pass the turn to?
You're not really here. So take it away, Tango.
I am not going to turn around. That seems unnecessary.
Sure.
Can I shoot my hand cannon without?
Without looking.
I think for flavor, I have absolutely no problem with that. Just because you're going for a cool effect. So yeah, you can just very like.
How?
I don't know. No, actually, I feel like you need an upgrade. Roll with disadvantage, and you can do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can get an upgrade where you can just like have blind sense targeting. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. We can call it
So
360 turret.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
It's probably 5. No.
like hand cannon. So
17.
17.
Nice. And that's at the orc.
Yeah.
That hits.
Cool.
That's when you shoot things. It sounds like a didgeridoo.
Wait, do I roll now to see if I?
Now you roll to see if you lose any of your ammo. So
Okay.
that you roll your ammo die.
So a D10.
And if it's a 1 or a 2, it'll go down to a D8.
It does not.
Cool. Now you roll your
Now-
damage die
1d8.
plus your dex modifier.
5.
Cool. You hit him. Adam is going to take his turn, and well, actually, we'll cut back to you. We'll cut back to you. So back, we'll say it. All right, and that's a grand total of let's see, because of archival quality. My God, you want to get the insurance, right? No. Okay, well that will be 1 gold piece.
Great, and I will pay him.
All right. All right. Well then, have a good day.
Great, and I'll zoom
He's just delighted.
quickly back
That was a
into
great exchange.
ferret time.
This is Maleva.
And as you're running off, Fred the ferret is going to jump off the end of your gun and zap whoever you hit last, who's
Sure.
still alive.
Yeah, the orc is fairly close. So as she's punching, the ferret jumps. What were you casting?
19. Lightning hand, not what it's called. Shocking grasp.
Cool.
Lightning hand!
I like it.
It's a 17.
Yes.
Is he wearing metal by any chance?
He is. He's got metal infused into his skull.
Oh,
God.
just in case I get a 20. Nat 20.
No.
Yes!
Yes! Perfect.
Best day ever, and that's gonna be a whopping 14 lightning damage, and he's got no reaction.
And I would say he doesn't, because as the ferret jumps on his head and you kind of like finishing up the thing, kind of like, or trying to communicate. So I imagine it's like, oh, do you want this? And you're like, no, just give me the. And you push the magic through to him, and he just becomes this electrified rodent. And the brains inside this orc start to sizzle, and it just like falls over and dies with this ferret kind of clinging to its face, just zapping it. And when that happens, the Trollkin, the one that's not dead, is going to use his point to interrupt, and he like backs up, disengages, and runs about 30 feet away from you, and then he just kind of like
I'm gonna spend a bonus point.
falls to the ground. What are you gonna do?
I wanted to spend a hero point to interrupt him.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast Reduce on him.
Okay.
Love it.
And then he goes on a
Find
diet.
Con save.
Nice.
Con save?
Yeah.
Actually, I think the rule is that if you want the spell to happen, you can let it auto success. So as soon as you do that, he's not going to contest it. He reduces, and you see his skin was already starting to change color to match the sand, and he falls on his belly, and he's gonna scamper away from you guys.
Damn it! I'm gonna go
Did he go
chase
back
him.
the way we came?
Yeah, he heads back towards the town.
Can I step out of the post office at that point and see if I see him?
Yes, you can definitely roll perception.
Why not? I do not see him. 9.
No, he probably made a break at some point because he's actually not coming back to the town. So even if you kind of scan that area for a second, but you guys don't have to run anymore.
Right.
You want to loot the orc and the Trollkin?
Yeah, let's see what they got.
You melted a bunch of their stuff. They had some like mundane gear you could have sold, but you fried it all. And they had about 150 gold pieces. The orc did on him.
Great.
As well as a wristband he was wearing that Adam will identify as you pull it out as being like, oh, this marks a significant member of the family.
Oh.
He's like, we killed somebody's son.
Yeah.
He's
Dude,
like, oh,
let
but
me
now-
see that.
And he's like, and he lived such a short life, I'm sure. Oh, and he starts to kind of get existentially sad again. And he gives it to you.
Can I make a roll on this to see if I know what family it's from, like a history?
Investigate, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You roll history.
Cool.
Yeah, this episode is called Going Postal. That's true. Thank you.
That's inappropriate.
Thank
24.
You can have a hero point. 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know that from what you little you know about deep space orc culture is that
Rainy.
the reputation of the family is everything, and it's not built on bloodlines, but on domination. Who can inherit and maintain?
Okay.
It's all kind of like big chest thumping kind of culture.
Mm-hmm.
This specific orc was part of was basically on its like coming of age ceremony. So capturing this Voidwalker is very important to it.
Ooh.
And now that
the
he's
guy being bar mitzvah.
yeah, basically it's deep space orc but it's yeah they have.
So good.
The issue is now that if that was someone, it was probably a tribal leader's son, or whoever's hunting you.
So
you
we've
just,
made
you-
ourselves some enemies.
You've
is
hurt
what
some.
you're saying.
You've hurt somebody
Right.
close to the structure of
Mm.
And family is very important for orcs. That is kind of
You
the
really can.
the weird and property is too. So a lot of the hobgoblins, a lot of the races they've taken on as slave races have just without them knowing have integrated into their society.
So I imagine you're telling us all this crap.
Yeah, I'm just like,
And they hurt you too. Let's get on the shuttle.
jolly good. No, I scoot off. I'm scared.
Cool. As you guys are heading up to the thing, says what were you all? Adam's like, what were you all doing back at the post office before we were?
We were securing some tickets,
And posting a package. And I showed a
Wonderful.
return receipt.
He says,
which was much less important.
oh, he says the Dead Space Nebula. He says I was there when I was a child.
Wonderful. Well, I have something waiting.
And he says, and you got us tickets. That's wonderful too. So, and you kind of explain the process to him. He's like, so you exchanged the gold, you say, for goods and services?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
He says, well, then maybe you could use this. And he gives you 20,000 gold pieces.
Jesus.
Why?
Thanks, Adam.
Where did you come across all this money?
He says it was in the ship's storage drive, and you just never asked me about it.
Oh.
Fair enough.
That brings the total group coinage to 20,264.
Good to know.
As you guys get up to
That's great.
to the bus, we'll just cut to you. You're all just kind of riding, and now you guys can take a short rest. One of those silent short rests. You guys are the only people on this little sky bus. It takes you out of the atmosphere to the landing platform that is going to take you to this this cruise liner, this star cruiser. And there is a vending machine if you guys want to buy anything from the vending machine. And other than that, why don't we take a real quick break and then we'll come right back.
Cool.
All right, we'll be right back, guys.
Verb.
Well, she wasn't calling you.
He said, "Suck it."
Suck it!
Did you get a haircut?
You cannot.
It's not done yet. There's still patches.
Hello, we're back.
TikTok.
Hello.
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 British.
Too white.
Sorry, I'm thinking about the '90s. We're back every time.
With dinosaurs.
Every time.
We're back, dinosaurs.
Oh, this shuttle has nice music.
Yeah.
Thank
So you guys finish your short rest if you'd like, and you arrive at the landing pad, and quite literally the bus lands. You guys get off of it, take any luggage that you would have, which is not much, and you are met by, once you get there are lots of lines, and you can see that they have like on the ground painted out lanes that you would stand in, and what's going to happen is that this is going to literally fly into a ship, and then it will lead to elevators. So you're going to enter elevators that will take you into the rest of the Star Cruiser.
That's the music.
In the middle of all of this is basically a giant parking lot where everyone's parking their ships, so their ships flying in and off of this station. It's just like a big exposed floating platform in space with an artificial gravity and an artificial atmosphere. So it's kind of like you're outside. It's very neat. When you guys, you'll need to do a couple things. So as you're getting in lines, the first thing you realize, it doesn't really matter what line you get in. They're all going to let you onto the ship. You guys basically were able to put your name on the ship, but there's only X amount of rooms that are already paid for. Basically, it functions like a floating city while you're inside of it. So there'll be hotels and things that you can stay at, but you don't actually like buy a room or anything. You didn't buy anything. You just got your name on it. That would have required more time you did not have. I guess that doesn't make sense. I guess if you're getting a ship, you'd have to have a room. They can't not.
Seem like it, but it's corporate space capitalism at its best. So
I feel like you all get a sleep pod. I feel like there's a wall in a giant room that it's like a casket. You can slide into it, and it will not. You can sleep in there for X amount of hours. It knocks you out with the gas.
Yeah, it induces sleep.
Yeah, it's fine.
sounds great.
It's great.
Look forward to it.
But as you are on the platform and the ship, everyone, you hear sirens, and the platform still starts to move out towards the Starliner. And within a half hour, you guys can see it kind of come out from view behind the moon. And the Paladins crews that are the corporate security guards are starting to make their way through the crowds, making sure you don't have any magic items on you. So basically what they're going to do is the first time they're going to go, hey, you, go throw that, hey, you get your damn hands off her. Sorry. They're going to go, hey, you need to go take that back to the customs officer so they can lock it up, you know. So as they start to make their way down the line, you guys basically need to figure out what you're going to have, like what can you carry with you on the ship? How are you going to, you know, pass their security?
Do they have magic sensors, I assume?
So as you go around, you can tell that they're casting some sort of magic. All of their helmets have a detect weapon and detect magic built into them. So they're just going through, they're just scanning people as they walk through. And a guy not 30 people in front of you in line, you see them like instantly, they're like, he's got contraband, and then they're like, they have stormtrooper voice, they just kind of bark back and forth at each other. And before you know it, that guy is on the ground and he has a bag around his head.
Oh,
So
my God.
Yeah.
this is serious.
Yeah, and they just like pull him off, and there's a handful of little paladin cruisers. They're like little mid-sized ships, and they'll just throw them on. They open up on the side, so you can have a whole team jump in and out. They're very military. It's all like military grade tech. So they start to walk the way down. If you're cool with it, you guys can just deposit any items that you don't want to be checked for. Well, so they also will check for your licenses if they're concerned or if you draw their suspicion. So if you want to, you guys can just check your stuff in.
Only question would be the wrist thing that I have with that personal computer, basically.
When it's closed, it
Right.
it looks like a personal computer. So as long as they don't investigate it too heavily,
Okay.
it should pass.
Okay.
How many
so
is it?
That would be a thing I'm going to try to get through because I don't have a mark otherwise.
Okay. Well,
How many of them are there?
they're on this platform, maybe a battalion of 40. There are this
Like
it's about the size of a baseball.
How
football
many
field.
would be
Oh,
going
in the line?
searching on the line?
I'd say probably at 3. They're going in like little groups of 3 up and down the many different lines. But if you need more time or whatever, you can always duck out of line, kind of conveniently go to the restrooms or walk backwards. There's a whole line of like concessions and little outdoor eatery spots and street food and that kind of thing.
Charger stations.
Yeah, charger stations to charge your magic guns.
Your iPhones.
There actually is a pay to
iPhones.
charge station to charge up magical abilities and all the things you can't get in space. So
Cool.
that's the only way you'll be able to replenish your magic while you're on the ship. Actually, is to pay to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, being in space is hard if you wizards.
I'm going to cast Reduce on my spell book,
Okay.
and I'm going to try and hide it in my hat.
Perfect.
And hopefully they'll just scan below my neck, because I'll hold my hands up and be like,
Roll
Really
a
disinterested in genitals.
perception.
They're not just interested in genitals.
15.
You see a stand next to you. Well, not next to you. You guys are kind of walking. You can duck out of line, as I imagine. There's 3 of these guys, and they're just like scanning people. So you don't have a lot of time. So you might all kind of, let's go get some food, and you kind of walk over to the. And there's a little cart, and they have all these hats, all these fun different types of hats, and you find a big, very long, like wizard hat, like a big, and you put it on your head. It's very floppy, but it has a aura of non-detection,
Okay.
so you can stuff your hat inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only magic hat that's there, and it's a very low level magic. You just barely notice it. It's not a very good looking hat. It's kind of like.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, it's like, this is brilliant. How much for this hat? Shopkeep.
A halfling, gentle lady pops out, and she's like, 400 gold. And
I think
Raimi
this-
is floundered by that price.
I think this hat looks quite flash. Did you say 400 gold?
No, you're right. 500.
No, that's preposterous for something like this. I'm gonna roll a persuasion.
Okay. She's like, go for it. Roll persuasion.
Go for it.
So what?
Roll the dice.
16.
She's like, all right, you're right. 300 gold.
Are you with me?
I think we're all here.
Oh.
You realize how much money we have?
Oh, then can I have some money?
It's on your. we're in
Oh,
space,
yes.
remember?
Oh, sorry. No,
You're allowed.
I'm right. Yes,
Yeah, so
yes.
Okay,
Please, take some gold.
Subtract that gold, and she's like, yeah, I knew it must be worth something if you're willing to pay that for it.
You think you're so smart. I come from Realm, and I know how much these cost, but I know you're on the
300 gold on the silver.
Whatever. Fine. Goodbye.
It was great.
Hey,
So worth it.
All right, she's like, well, if you need anything else, I've got other novelty hats.
Storm off. I'm like, someone else let that hobbit halfling swindle them.
Hobbit is a standard derogatory term used in the
Are
Voidwalker
there any other cool
universe.
hats?
Absolutely not.
Then I
Yeah,
say
there
hobbit.
are fedoras.
Someone else let that
There
hobbit
are those,
swindle
there are
them.
those gesture hats and
There
these
are
like
no more
cat
hats.
in a hat hats.
Ma'am,
Can
I'll give you a gold for the fedora.
I am
200.
going to
No, I'll give
do
you a gold.
something about this.
She says, all right.
And I get my gold fedora. Thank you.
That's fine.
Tango does not like hats.
I don't like spending gold on useless things, is what it is.
Or
think she
humans
doesn't
very
like
much.
hats.
That's a tip of the hat and a wag of the finger to hats.
As soon as you put the hat on your head, you
I don't think she
feel
likes
the hair
hats.
underneath your neck start to grow.
Thank God.
And you grow a very perfect little neck beard. And this
Perfect.
is a hat of the neck beard. It gives you
Brilliant.
It gives you a -1 to your charisma checks. And yeah.
There you go.
Can I harvest that hair?
It gives you a real sense of chivalrousness and misplaced anger.
Great.
Perfect.
And you have disadvantage on any checks to seduce anyone. Although we don't play that game, so
We're not.
luckily I haven't played a game of Seduce the Bar Wench in 6 or 7 years, which is
That's
nice. Oh god,
It's tempting sometimes.
it is tempting, depending on how much I describe them like Chris Hemsworth. Yeah.
He's got like
You have the
wicked
biggest
blue eyes.
crush.
I love
Chris
Chris
Hemsworth.
Hemsworth. I would kiss him on the
He
face.
is your model human.
I'd
Man.
like
Kiss
to
him.
place the hat on Tango's head when she's not looking.
Sure. You put a hat on her head, she grows a neck beard.
Yes.
Great. A cyborg.
How
with
would
a
I
neck
not
beard.
realize that there was a hat on my head?
You can take it off.
I'm taking
He's not
that
saying
off.
you can't.
Just saying you've got a neck.
As soon as you pull the hat off, the
was
hair
so
just falls to
amusing.
the ground.
Great.
And it cannot
That
be
was such a
harvested.
good
it
use of a
disappears.
gold.
Dang it. Can't felt
I am
it.
so pleased about what just happened.
Yes, lighten up.
See, let's see. You've got cybernetic appendages, so they're gonna want to see licenses for all the work that was done to you.
I don't have those, do I?
You don't have those, no.
Oh.
So that's something you'll need to consider. Your spellbook is nice and hidden. You have nothing.
I've got a wrist computer and
You got a wrist computer. That should be fine. Your gun.
I'm gonna activate.
You
Weasel.
Turn it
Ghost
invisible.
mode.
Yeah.
Ferret.
Weasel. All right, cool. Then that's fine.
the same thing.
You
Right.
need what you need are the correct serial codes to for your arm to be registered as something. That's not hard to basically get your gear in the system. The system takes care of tracking your gear for you. So your inventory will be easy to spoof. What you'll need to do is you'll basically need to go get registered codes, which is just another hack job.
Could she use her forge cleric ability for that? Just asking.
You could probably use your.
She's got to spend an hour crafting something, and it's made of metal as a forge cleric thing, but you remember that one, right?
I do, but I don't know how it would work in this context because.
We're in space. This is about armoring. I'm asking the DM for you.
Okay.
No, it's a good question. It's valid. You should always be trying to squish your. You're not playing your character right if you're not trying to make a square foot into a circle. That's D&D in a nutshell. But on this situation, I don't think it would be applicable because what you need is data, and not it isn't the make of it that's bothersome. It's just that basically what we need is the signature of the doctor who installed this on you, so that it's all like right. It wasn't done on the black market or that kind of thing. What I will say is you can probably use your channel divinity in this scenario to be able to hack into systems on this platform. So if you wanted to, you could scan the entire like area. Probably take you about an hour to like scan the area and try to ping out accessible codes. So if you want to expend your channel divinity to kind of do like a scan, I'd be fine with that. Since I'm using your class in a much less structured way, because I'm playing it as more like your character's a very unique kind of special character as opposed to being like a normal occurrence in the Voidwalker world, you know.
If there weren't 3 people in line, then I could just do a little command and pass by them, which would be ideal.
You do a little command.
Yeah.
You could try to command like the CO. Like there's obviously what's happening is there's one soldier that's walking with no gun, and then 2 with guns, one scanning and then instructing the other 2. So that's a gamble. You could tell that might work if you were to apply that.
Yeah. I guess if it didn't work, that would be bad.
The alternative is that you could pack up your arm if you wanted to. You could pack up your arm, put it in cold storage here on this floating deck, and it would be safe. Or you could always try to break it out later. Remember, you guys could try to steal all the ships in here. You can do whatever you want on this floating space city. I'm fine with that. But
This is the suit I'm wearing.
very cool.
So there's just people going down the line. Is there some sort of like electronic check that knows you're good? That
You have you all have the wristbands on, so you're just getting.
So it's really just.
Basically, you wouldn't be able to stay on the platform without the band.
Okay.
So being on the band already shows that you have a ticket, at least a general boarding ticket. Anyone who
Priority seating?
priority seating gets escorted on via a shuttlecraft or some sort of like teleportation magic.
I think hacking to get that would be more ideal, because then we wouldn't even get checked at all.
You could definitely try to hack into the like the teleportation relay.
That's cool.
I mean, we're also here, and we could just get on the ship. We could probably create a distraction and get you through the line.
Like fire? I can fire.
No, not.
Like fire, Jesus.
The little hobbit keeps like, holy shit! Take that away from my cart. And she like rolls her hat cart away.
We could probably just verbally distract them, and you could buy maybe, and particularly if you keep your commanding presence on hold.
Hey, you there! A voice yells at the group from another stand.
Ah.
It's just a thin, wiry human with a big twirly mustache, and he's like, I've got just the things you'll need for your journeys. And he shakes he has a cane.
They're
A
trying to
cane,
sell
a little
us
hat.
stuff?
Oh,
Yeah,
I love canes.
They're just a bunch of vendors. They're just yelling at you. You don't have to interact with them. I'm just
Oh.
presenting different vendors who are kind of yelling at you guys as you walk around, kind of.
Is he a
Nonchalant.
cane dealer?
No, I needed to walk, you asshole.
Oh.
That's very
What's
rude.
in your shop?
I'm
I can't
riffing with
see.
you. Come buy magical oddities and ends and goods and bads.
Bats.
Bats?
What do you
Bats.
have on
Bats.
sale?
Bats.
Ah, I love
I
bats.
said
Yum, yum.
bats.
Bats?
What?
Bats.
Bats.
How big are the bats?
So
Give me
he-
the bats!
He shows you
Or
that
bats.
there's one bat that's asleep on a pole, and he pokes it with his cane. It
Or
stays
is it a
asleep.
bat?
No, it's an animal.
It's an
Large
animal.
bats, small
He's
bats?
got a selection of items that he is claiming are magical artifacts from the Age of Heroes, and he's saying that these are real tried and true magic items, bound to make you a more powerful.
I cast Identify.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
gonna look and see if there's something to hack into, and what kind of
She's just gonna really
Which
forget
problem?
about this shit.
So directly behind this cart is one of the power structures that lay into the grid, and what these carts do is they come up and they can siphon power off of it. So you just go up to the pylon and roll me a hacking check as you kind of scan it over.
I love
Okay, I'm
that.
using one of my.
This shit.
You guys still talking to the dude?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You start identifying. There are definitely magical auras on most of the items. You can see that the handful of them that are more like rare relic pieces. Anyways, you wouldn't be buying them because he claims they're magic. More like they're just kind of special and old.
Rainy, come here.
Calls them fossils from the mythical era of heroes. Tap, tap,
Come
tap.
here with me.
Like one of your smallest bats.
Rainy.
Here you go. Every customer gets a free bat.
Oh, great.
Do I not have a way to?
I want a free bat.
Calm down.
They're rubber.
Do I not
Ready.
have a way
You wanna
that I
trade
could
bats?
hack,
Ready.
since I'm so good at hacking, to shut off this collective gold sharing thing? That's fine.
We didn't even pay for the bats.
We haven't spent any
You
money.
would have though.
You can attempt to do one of two things right now. You can attempt to block their
Okay, I
their
guess
signals
it's not important yet, but at some
so
point
that they can't do this transaction. Yes, you can temporarily block them from being able to access for comedic effect. But right now, I assume you're trying to hack into the
yes.
system. Yeah. So.
Yes. Which, after spending my hero point, I got a nat 20.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
so you're
girl.
able to kind of plug in, and the middle of your hand forms a tool that allows you to interface directly with the pylon. And when you do, your eyes glow white, absorbing the energy of the pylon.
Rainy.
That's cool.
Were you making that noise?
No, what noise?
Was the pylon?
You are now going to have to interface as there is a security feature in place. You can't just turn it on with your check, but you can interface seamlessly if you want to.
I would like to interface.
Cool. So you, when you do, the rest of the world washes away, and you have no perceived body. You're just a consciousness. You do a riddle.
Ooh, riddles.
Is this kind of interfacing common? Like, is this?
This is how it is if you were using a hacking rig. If you were a character who had
Lay down.
you had a VR helmet and or
Yeah,
goggles, and you would plug in to.
So that is something that guards and such would be aware of.
Yeah. If someone caught you right now, they're kind of by engaging this man, they're kind of forming a wall of chaos in front of you.
What's
It would
how
be
much is this for? And I'm
advantageous.
picking up
Yeah.
random stuff off of the vendors as well. I'm making just more of a scene.
All right, show me the answers.
What has I got in my pockets?
In your pocket.
What is your name? What is your quest? What is your favorite color? Red, I mean blue. Ah.
Seems a better way for you to die.
Meow, 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 meow.
Riddle me this.
No.
Oh, riddles. You have riddles.
No!
I hate him.
I guess don't. Come on in.
Don't do it.
I'm really bad at riddles too.
I'm just so bad.
She's really good at riddles.
You know what? Never mind. It's something you have to fight.
Great.
You read a nat 20. Let's just let it be.
Just let it
I feel like
It happens.
I feel like I've spent too much time looking for shit and had a nat 20, and let's just repeat that sentence 4 more times.
I'm getting fancy passes for all of us.
Yeah, you definitely you get past the security interface, and now you find yourself in a metaphorical tunnel with different choices, doors representing different files, and you kind of guide your way down and are able to find. What are you looking for specifically?
I am looking for where they would file important people that get top priority seating.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you try to enter a room that says VIP, and it is locked.
What kind of lock?
It is a mechanical lock. Try to lockpick it.
Yeah, I wanna lock.
Cool. You're proficiency with that, right?
I'm looking. I don't.
Probably not.
Probably not.
You can use your hacking instead.
You can always try that.
You
Yeah.
use your foot.
Proficient with computer tools, whatever that means.
Yeah. That's it.
Smith's
That's fine.
tools and computer tools.
Yeah. Computer tools.
Okay.
Like a solder. Okay. Well, just roll that hacking check then.
8.
Yeah. So it doesn't open for you.
Okay.
And when you do not enter the correct sequence, is what's actually happening. The light around you shifts to a red. You feel a pulse of energy, and next to you is a rendering of a paladin guard, and it shows up, and it has a gun on you. You want to roll initiative?
I'd
Do it.
Roll initiative. 18. Well, wait, 20.
20. It's going to go first. It says, "Hold it right there." Hold it right there.
Can you please turn down the voice disruption? Turn it down.
Steven?
Turn it down.
Steven? Steven?
I mean, is that his?
So it's going to.
Is that all he does?
Is that it?
It's
'Cause I'm
asking
pushing.
you to wait right there, and what it's doing actively is scanning you. Right now, it's scanning your location in the real world.
Okay.
Kill it.
I would like to command.
Cool.
Sweet.
Cool. I would like to tell it to admit.
Admit?
Admit me.
Oh, like open this door. You can say the command can be a very short
A
thought.
sentence.
Like you can say open this door. It's fine.
I thought it said one word.
It does, but
Okay.
it's supposed to
As
be.
you can see, that's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, let me in is a thought, the same as stop or drop.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Stop what you're doing is the same as open.
Yeah.
Open. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to do
wanting
that,
it to allow
does it
me
make
in.
a save?
Let me see. Wisdom save or follow one word command.
As you say that to it, its helmet kind of like you see it spark, and it's the light on its helmet that was indicating that its sensor array was on kind of shuts off, and it immediately turns and is going to reach the door and turn the handle, and it opens the door up.
Sweet.
But that only lasts for one round, right?
That seems like it.
Yeah.
I don't have that information in front of me.
Right
Cool. So as soon as it opens the door, it kind of shakes it off, and its hardware reboots, and it's going to pull its gun back up. It's going to shoot you.
Oh, good.
What's your AC?
18.
It hits you with its first shot. It's going to shoot you again. It's going to miss you with the second one, though, as you kind of push back into the room. Let's see. You'll take 16 damage. And we'll cut back to the real world. You guys are still talking to the dude. If you want to, you can have bought some magic items if you like, or you can just be continuing to. He'll engage you. He doesn't need any checks.
Rubber bats forever.
Yeah, he's just. So at the end, you keep asking for rubber bats, and he keeps putting them down. He's like, "I've got rubber chickens too." And he
We
starts
don't want
just
chickens.
bats. Yeah.
No, we just want all the bats.
He's like, and then he calculates the cost for all these bats.
What? Wait, what cost for the bats? There's no cost for the bats. You said the bats were free.
Well, you want way too many of these rubber bats.
You didn't
All
stipulate
right, you
that
get back
before we got.
inside. It's your turn.
Lucy is not a part of this conversation.
Yeah, just
Lucy is like hanging out toward the door. More like, I'm not with these people.
I will.
Roll perception actually as they're making a scene.
Not 20.
You notice as they're talking, the flint she makes, she was just attacked in cyberspace. You can tell by the way her body's reacting.
Can I jump in cyberspace? Or
Not-
like is that a thing that only
she
that
can
like
only do
hackers
it when she activates the
Gotcha.
thing. She has to be there, like
So she
selecting the
can't-
people.
Oh, okay, but she
What about
can do
Adam?
that if she brings
Huh?
people
What
in.
about Adam? Like, does he have the option to?
Yeah, Adam can interface. Right now, Adam is just interested in. He's actually still following the hat lady. He's walked off. You guys have lost track of him again.
Fantastic.
Well, we should stop forgetting about him.
Yeah.
He's important.
I'm not paying for these bats. It's ridiculous.
Okay, what are you doing?
I'm inflicting wounds.
You're inflicting wounds.
Yes.
Awesome.
Whoops.
I roll for that.
Mm-hmm.
19.
19. You can just manipulate the, like, in this space, this is where the magic makes the most sense to you, because it's this, like, cybernetic space. So I imagine here, your magic looks even more like magic than it looks like in the material realm, because this is, like, of your domain. So you're just, like, whipping out these bolts of energy, and the paladin, in response, slams his chest piece, and a force field he can cast shield on himself. And you do not hit him. And he is going to shoot you again.
Again.
Hits you with, you said 17? 16?
18.
Huh?
18.
18. Okay. Missed you with the first one. Missed you with the second one. All
Yes, there's that.
We'll cut back out to the real world. You guys can attempt to pull her out. It's dangerous.
Is anyone coming towards her at this point?
No one has been alerted yet because the creatures the program is now just fighting her. And
Okay.
he kind of threw off the rhythm because I hadn't remembered that I need to do that. So probably will next turn. But she could definitely tell that she's being hurt. There's blood running down her nose and like out her ear. The way that
Is that the only way to fix this? Is to pull her out of it?
you can't go in with her. And you
Right, but if she's getting hurt, is that
if she dies in there, she dies.
right?
How hurt are you at this point?
You have no way of knowing that
Okay.
Yeah.
unless you want to roll a medicine.
No, do we have any communication? And the answer was no.
Yeah, you can have real time communication through the runes. So
I know what's going on in
you
there.
can
Yeah.
you can interact.
Okay,
with that. That's
cool.
fine. Yeah.
I also, when I realize she's in pain, I inquire.
Specifically,
As
you guys
well.
can because of his relay device. It's a super powerful
That's right.
relay, so he can
Okay.
transmit into. You have to be basically if he was on the ship, you guys would not be able to do the interface this way
I see.
without it.
So I could pull somebody in, but it would take
You have to come back out and then go back into it,
oh,
which is something you could do.
2 turns.
Hey, thanks for the host, Red Nebula Pictures. Y'all the best.
What is happening?
All the best.
I'm busy right now.
Shout out to Dan Danzy, Nerd Alert, all the good stuff, all the good things. Nerd Alert.
I don't know much about shields. This is a very serious situation.
Trying to decide whether I should try to unhook her or
Say what now?
help her. You know what I'm saying?
Unhook her?
Pull her out.
Do not
of
attempt
it.
to assist.
Do what?
Do not attempt to assist.
Do not attempt to assist.
Okay. I get the feel. I think that Lucy wouldn't. I think Lucy would only intervene if she knows that she would need to save a life.
As you're having this conversation, you all
In
hear.
her head.
You guys hear. You there? What are you doing? And you check over. Adam has accidentally knocked over the cart with the hats, and there are 2
Awesome.
paladin troopers who are walking up to investigate.
Oh no! Oh, he's you see, he's got problems, don't you? You in the head. He's not right.
So you run. He runs away from you. Do you continue to talk to?
Just gonna keep
To rubber bat
amassing
guy?
bats and keep an
Yeah.
eye on her. at
If
this
you're
point.
not gonna pay for these bats, then we are ready to. We need to end this conversation.
Don't
right
you
now.
get him up! Don't you give him those bats back!
You're just trying to do stupid occurrences.
So you run over there.
Did I command him?
Are you doing anything?
He didn't come back.
It's only 1 round. So
No. No.
She's like, this is some silly shit.
You can.
Yeah.
You are happy. You can think of this in
I'm
terms
above
of
this shit. I
inside
don't
the
know.
system. That is not a real paladin that's shooting.
Right.
It's a program or
Right.
someone who's in the system. So you can think in like a more fourth dimensional way using your magic and stuff in that system. Like using a command, think like a command line in a computer. You can use command like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you could potentially, to answer your question, you
Disconnect.
you could force a reboot or like a reconnect. You could like yell at it, things like that. It may not work, but because it gets a roll still. But
Okay.
it's within the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Let's see. I that's what I want to do.
Okay.
It's just gonna come right back.
Oh.
I gotta think of something more longer.
We can't.
More
help you.
longer.
More longer.
She needs something more longer.
Big boom now. Better time.
But should we hook her? That's the real question. De-hooker, sorry.
De-hooker.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Okay, so you still want to cast?
I need to know more about how these sorts of things work. Is it until they accomplish the
You'll
task?
buy yourself a round. It will take for it to resummon itself. So you'll,
regardless. Okay. Well, then maybe that's not the best thing to do. And the shield was only for 1 round? Is that how that stuff works? Then I am going to beat him with my hand.
beat him with your
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
Cool. So you just gonna charge into him.
I use my hand to beat.
Plus 5.
4.
Hands, strength. So it's 5. So 22.
Okay. 22.
Cool.
Yeah.
You deal that damage.
Do that.
So yeah, you
22
just
for
push through.
hands.
Just
22
smack him
hand
across
hits.
the base.
5.
Back fist.
Awesome. When you hit him for that 5, he grabs a mustache. Yeah, he takes a step back, and he's going to say, "We have unauthorized access," and he's going to call out the specifically where your physical location is
Oh, no.
on the
This is
the-
taking too long.
the platform. And then basically like they're accessing the VIP transit files, and his action, you can see that his form now goes translucent, and he's no longer in a place that you can hit him. He's now just basically observing you and like reporting as you guys see the paladin troopers that you were running towards. They were about to mess with Adam. They change their course immediately and start running over to the pylon where you are.
Cool.
I'm
And you
exiting.
are.
Seeing that, I'd like to drop the bats and pull her out.
Yeah, we have to break the
I can
break
exit,
the
though.
connection.
Okay,
I
cool.
I can choose that.
Yes, roll a perception.
Oh, 12.
You look around the room and you see a binder that's the edges of each of the binders have different like rooms and locations. You grab the premiere deck and you grab the binder and you pull out. And when you pull out back into meat space, you have a set of coordinates and bypasses in your brain that you know will help let you access the teleportation system. You'll just have to jack back in again or like plug in some other way. But now you have coordinates that will allow you to, if you can bypass their security, specifically jump to one of the archways on the premiere deck.
Yeah, so it's not the same thing as being passed. It's using it myself. Is that what you mean? I was confused.
So you grab the binder, and then when you come back out, the way it sits in your mind is that you needed 2 things to pull this off. Getting into the system and activating the transport, you rolled a nat 20 on that, so you can get back into that system just by interfacing. You know the pathway. That would not require you to jump in, but obtaining the information you needed, specifically the room codes and the access keys, you got the security bypass you need to teleport you guys. Now you just have to plug back into their mainframe and do it with all of them linked in, and you guys can jump onto the ship.
Okay,
so now your trick is as you kind of like right yourself, and you guys are all trying to look as not guilty as possible, standing there, while the old man's like They're the ones. They're right here.
I actually would like to look guilty and angry. Tan, you can't be doing this. And as the officers come closer,
Okay.
I'm sorry for her. She's a bit of adult. Ever since the accident, she just has not been right, and she keeps thinking she's more machine than human.
Yeah, we have problems with chromosomes all the time. Says, keep her in line or we'll throw her off the platform.
And that makes perfect sense. Thank you for understanding.
And he's like, let me check your registration on that interface unit.
She doesn't have one. This actually happened not that long ago down on Folly. We're trying to get her to an appropriate medical facility. You've heard about what happened down there, the ship?
The two helmeted figures they turn their helmets to each other. They're talking to each other. You can't hear what they're saying because they're communicating via their interface.
Yeah, that's fine.
They kind of look at each other and they turn back and they go, there are no medical facilities, licensed medical facilities on Folly.
It's not a licensed operation. Again,
You're just telling the truth. I love
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a social
Like, no,
situation
listen.
where the character just says, I will tell them the truth.
look, it was an emergency. She lost her arm. There was lots of blood. Someone there said they had the expertise. We didn't have time to pay. And
All right.
That's why we're here, to get it done.
Yeah.
The proper channels.
They start like, you're kind of like getting up in their space and be a little over and like, oh, it's been such a hassle. Oh, and they're just gonna basically be like, that's fine and dandy. We're gonna need to secure it below deck while you guys ride. No artifacts or magical armaments. No
I'm
pun
not
intended, says the other guy.
sure that it will come off. Do you have a medic here? Again, this was done quickly. That's why we want to get into the core.
I need a
plans.
medic on the. I need a cleric on the main platform deck, and he reads off a specific location because it's so big. Said, you just wait right there. This will just take a few hours. So.
Awesome.
So these guys form a perimeter as they're waiting for their cleric to come up. You guys are being watched by them, but they're not treating you. At this point, it's less of like, because of your being very on the level with them, they think that everything you said is true, and it is. And because of that, they're like, we just need to take the arm off, put it below deck. We can get you on board. Basically, they've got the attitude of like, they're real annoyed they have to do their jobs, but they're also very fine that like it's okay.
Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, they're like, okay, civilians, like you're a bunch of idiots.
This would be a good opportunity for fire, I think.
Those meat bags are holding you back.
So we'll wait, and you do whatever.
We're waiting?
You do what you need to do.
Yeah, you guys have a scene to interact before this cleric will be here, and you guys can do anything you want to before that, or we can just cut to the cleric and get in here.
We just need to get on the boat.
How do we get it back?
So wait, is that bad magic or is it not? Because it's reading in here that it is, but you told me it wasn't. You don't have to
Chester.
ignore it. You can ignore
What
me.
he said.
That's what Chester
Going back to
He
the
like literally forgets about this stuff.
And as you're talking, this guy's
Just
pulling
finish
his
whatever
card
you
away. He
said.
does not want to.
Wait,
be
no,
eaten.
come back.
He's like, keep the bats. I don't need money for them.
Okay, thank
Keep
you.
the
See,
bats.
that's how you do a transaction.
Thank you.
And as he walks away, you guys see him. A bag rolls off his cart, and inside of it is a bunch of rubber bats, and you can see it's a bag of endless bats. And
Yes!
As an action, you can spray out a 15-foot cone of rubber bats.
Great.
You can produce about you can produce about volume-wise like 10 gallons of rubber bats.
10 gallons
I don't know why I'm doing volume.
of rubber
10
bats.
pounds.
Gallons.
Cubits.
Gallons of
Milliliters,
bats. What have you done to the bats before you,
You can
measure
fill
them
up.
by
You
the
can fill up
gallon?
a small
That's actually how bats
bathtub
prefer to
full
be.
of bats before it empties, and then you have to wait till the next dawn before you can throw the bats again.
I love it. I will happily.
I will
That
tell
is
you what they
great.
do in combat when you try to use them, but there's no way of knowing. They're not made for that.
Oh, good times.
I like it.
All right, well, that's D&D. Have a good one.
Bye.
So do you guys want to do anything preparation for this scene? Do you want to try to sneak away? Do you want to attack these paladins?
How do
You wanna
prosthetics
try- do-
work?
do you want to try to hack in while this is happening? Sneak off, hack in. It's all different because it's lots of different types of technology from different eras. Her arm is augmented with Voidwalker tech, so it's going to be exceptionally easy to pull off because it has a biological component to it.
Is there a way to cut an artery or something that would make removing the arm very physically dangerous to her that wouldn't be easy to heal in Space Magic World?
I get what you mean. Make it seem like it would be a dangerous.
Yeah.
I think that would require some sort of illusion magic. There's nothing you can do to the arm is pretty solid and it's
Well, and it's more due to her physics. Again, things that we could cut or
I'm saying because of how she's kind of she's becoming more robotic even without having to add components to herself, and the Voidwalker upgrade has already started to shift her biology. Some of her cells, her human cells, are starting to turn into bioorganics. You could definitely try to pull an illusion spell, something like that, but you couldn't do anything without maybe actually hurting her. I mean, you could do that, but you would have to rip her arm.
I would be much more down for that than losing my mechanics.
I would.
Okay, that's fair. That you can do that, and you can try to pull that. There will be a 25% chance that your arm will malfunction as a result, which would mean you'd have to get it repaired by someone who knew what they were doing before you could
Sure.
use it.
Will she get it back though? Are they just trying to...
Yeah, you'll get everything you check in. Everything you checked in, you get back.
But I'm not parting with my
She's
arm.
not parting with her arm.
I like this.
I make the ground trimmer.
She just got mad.
This is
what happened.
Earth trimmer?
Yeah, ground trimmer.
Ground trimmer, what's
Thaumaturgy?
She's just thaumaturgy.
Yeah, thaumaturgy.
So thaumaturgy.
We're all
Okay.
it's fine.
Yeah. So as you do that, the paladins, they all kind of turn back around and they pull out their sidearms.
They know I did it.
They are already detaining you, and they immediately, they're not aiming at you, but they're aiming at your group. They're like, what is this?
What was
It's
that?
It feels like an emitting tremors from the nuclear reactor. I'm gonna try and bullshit my way out of that. So, deception?
Yeah,
It's space travel stuff happening.
Yeah.
Space travel.
12.
It's ship stuff. Spaceship stuff.
Yes. Well, space. You should. Yes.
Who's
Look
in this
into
space
that.
with us?
It sounds dangerous.
Are we in public or are we in a room with... I don't remember where we are.
You are on top of a platform. It's like a giant field that floats in space that is a parking lot, basically, that everyone they're in their lockers, everyone checks in all the stuff they can't have on the ship, their ships, and then this will dock. You guys are traveling towards the ship. As a matter of fact, you guys are getting
like a subway station, sort of. Or as far as people being there.
Everyone's just waiting in lines to get on elevators that will eventually take them up to the ship. Once the ship docks, you still probably have another 2 hours. It's not a fast moving process, but I think it would be very cool looking. It's like this massive ship, and you're standing in this open air kind of space. Where the fuck is that fucking thing?
If we're just talking to this one dude.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
We're surrounded.
Yeah, we're surrounded.
Yeah. I mean, there are.
Otherwise, I was.
There's a whole battalion
Right.
of troopers
You
on
might
this.
not be
bunch of
surrounded
them.
at this point. You haven't said
Okay, I can't find it. What were you? You were trying to bluff.
Yes.
Yeah, it knows you don't know what you're talking about, and kind of confirms it. It's like, get on the ground, and with you specifically.
Okay, yes, I'm on the
he
ground.
doesn't know what he's talking
And
I'm
the
about.
other one
sorry.
comes up and is going to push you on the ground.
That's
You're
fine.
cool with it?
That's fine.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Okay.
realize it was this serious.
I'm gonna roll an attack.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
What did I do to warrant this much arresting?
Well, roll an initiative. You don't have to. You roll a 3. You're gonna go first.
Cool. Then this is
If we could all just calm down.
16.
There's
To
a
hit.
perfectly reasonable explanation for all of this?
As you're saying,
Yeah, you fire. You
punch,
punch, not shoot.
punch, not shoot.
Okay, cool.
Because the goal is to continue doing that. I'd like
Well,
to just
you're
kinda-
as you punch. Go ahead and do your damage.
Okay.
You know how fighting works.
Sorry. It's a different damage. 7.
Yeah,
And then I can take
you
a
hit
bonus
it,
action.
and as you punch the armor, you can feel that it's absorbing at least half of what you're giving at it. So your unarmored strikes are not super effective right now.
Okay. Can I take a bonus action?
Yeah.
I would like to just use my gun this
Yes,
time.
you pull out a gun.
Yeah.
Just,
Great.
Go and pull out your gun. You can fire. You're right in his face, so you have to fire with disadvantage. No, because this is your tensai weapon. No, never mind. You can ignore that. Yeah.
23.
Yeah, that hits.
Cool. And it does. $12 damage.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your gun was in its off mode, wasn't it?
Oh shoot!
Yeah, it takes a bonus
It's
action.
the ghost.
It takes a bonus action. You have to reload it and turn it back on. So as a,
So I can't.
you cannot attack him with this turn, but
Okay.
you can
It's good to know.
you can punch him and then draw your gun and reload it. And as
Great.
you do, as the
As
magic fills
my-
it back up, you can see it again.
Okay, great. So it's ready to
Yeah.
shoot.
He'll go ahead and use his interrupt point.
This is how I get out of a pickle, guys. Sorry, I'm just gonna kill all these bros.
Is this?
Both of them stop, like, jarred by what's happening. She pulls out a gun, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa! They just, like, start swarming on her.
I run.
You run? Great.
And now, yes.
Yeah, Lucy's like scatter.
Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows?
I'm like literally showing you, like, should I do this? What?
The first one fires.
Scram, Chester!
The first one fires at you, and you're going to take 7 damage.
And she said your name.
And then the second one is going to yell, "Get down!" and it's going to cast command on you. Go ahead and make a wisdom save.
21.
On the ground, and you're like, "No." And it's like, what? Yeah, we'll cut back to you. You're
No.
running away. You can find another one of those power pylons fairly close. Do you want to roll a perception, see if you can find one that's kind of obscured? Do you want to hack it? I assume
yeah.
that's what.
What's my modifier for this? Perception? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
23.
Cool. You very easily is the kind of break into the crowd and run off. You see another one not 200 feet around the corner. You can plug in. You're gonna need all of them within 30 feet of you in order to activate the teleport and get where you're going. But all you have to do is plug in.
Cool.
Go ahead and roll a stealth for me. And I assume you want to make a high check once you get down there. I'm not gonna make a hack because I feel like you've already accessed that.
Does anybody?
Have one.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's giving me one. Stealth has been really great for me.
But you keep doing it.
You keep having to.
Yeah, as soon as
10.
you get down behind this pylon, you find the perfect spot. The pylon's one of the highest ones, so it's one of the easiest ones to see from eye shot. And as you run up, there are 5 or 6 of these little wooden carts, and you can duck in behind them. And as soon as you duck in behind them, the shooting starts happening on the other side where they are, and the people with these carts are like, "Oh fuck!" and they all take their carts and they all roll away almost instantly, leaving you just perfectly exposed in this field, and you're already plugged in to the thing. Who do you want to pass the turn to?
Lucy.
Have you guys gone?
We have not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pass it.
My
pass
bad.
it. No, you're fine.
Go ahead, Z.
I'm ready.
Oh. I'm gonna delay and just stand with my arms on my head.
All right.
Because I don't see a good way out of this.
Fred comes up out of your pocket and looks at you, and then is going to chitter.
Great.
Scram.
Oh, God, I'm gonna cast Fog Cloud just to right in front of me, in the middle of all this. Just
Yeah.
Can't find me.
Yeah, and you cast the fog cloud, and it works. They are you guys are obscured.
I'm gonna run to where she is.
Okay, for sure. I think using the fog cloud is a perfectly fine way. You throw it out there. You don't have to make any checks. You're able to. This is a good idea. And you pull out the fog.
I want
and
to
this
run
whole
away in
area.
the fog.
It's not even like a poof. There's fog. It's more like just fog kind of fades in out of nowhere, and everyone's kind of trying to like walk through it. And the soldiers, the paladins, they kind of step into the space where you're at, and they're gonna start doing their scans. But their scans have to be like really specific. They don't have big wide range scanners. You're able to make your way towards her, no problem.
I want to just convey that the plan right now is that we should make a run for it, and I want to kind of disappear out of the fog and away from where we were at. Yeah, over to her if she ran.
Well, you know what she's doing, right? She's trying to activate a teleport to pop you guys into the ship. So you would just want to get it towards her.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
I see.
Anything you want to do?
I'd like to go find Adam, because clearly he's off.
Z! Z!
Over here, Adam.
Self-frenzy!
And I'd like the two of us to go and queue up.
He can't find you. Roll a perception. Excuse me, sir. Have you seen my friends?
Wow.
You didn't call for him.
5, but yeah. Adam.
He's like, yes, my name is Adam, and that sounds just like my friend. If you'll excuse me, and you see the shape of Adam kind of turn towards you, and right behind him is a paladin. Hold it right there. And they've got their gun up right behind, kind of right in your space. So all of a sudden he sees you. You want to roll an initiative?
No, I want to put my hands up.
Okay, perfect. And as soon as it does, this is a different group of soldiers. This is the ones that came with the cleric. You can tell because they're wearing a different color. They have a different color guard. He looks at you and he's just gonna move past you. Right? Keep running.
Just trying to get up with Adam at this point.
So you grab Adam and you guys all reconvene around the pylon. The fog is now kind of dispersing because of the weather controls here, but it's actually kind of helping obscure you guys. It looks like smoke is kind of flying up, and you can plug right in. You can activate the
Sweet.
And I do.
Cool.
Yeah, let's go.
And when she plugs in, you guys feel a tingle, and then as you are
Cool.
You're welcome.
transported. And the first thing that hits you is the overwhelming sense of sound and bass. It's a booming in your chest, and there are neon lights, and you guys are inside of a very fancy nightclub that's clearly on the top deck of this place. It's like, and it's got all the lights and it's kind of annoying. Yeah, and there are robots and cages that are dancing and the whole 9 yards. And all sorts of creatures, and everyone looks.
My outfit has changed.
Your outfit has changed?
Yeah, because magic.
No. You don't have any other clothes with you right now.
Alright.
You can buy clothes because magic. You can just say you have things. Threw me off. You're dead. You teleport off the ship. No. So you guys are on the ship, in the ship, and honestly, they can tell probably which. They will be able to know that you use their activation node, but it should be pretty easy for you guys to lose. If you don't stay in this club, it should be pretty easy for you guys to lose them.
I just want to dance.
I leave. I'm leaving immediately
Yeah.
because this is awful.
Losing them.
Do you deactivate ghosts again, or are you going to keep it on?
I'm gonna keep it on.
Far too many human bodies in this one room.
Yeah, and you guys push out past the bar. It's a big circle in the middle of the space, and there's all these people up past the multi-platforms. There's different dance platforms. And back towards the entrance, you pass by the coat room. The lady in the coat room looks at you guys, and she seems a little weirded out. She's got some sort of optical implant. She uses it in order for part of her job. She's she kind of looks at you, but then she doesn't really care. She's not like security or anything. She's just like, where do those people come from? Oh, the ones that come on from the teleport. Which is strange because you aren't in the system. So she doesn't say anything. You guys turn the corner, and as you pass through the archway of the door, you hear it go, "Frank, Frank, Frank." Unauthorized weapon in sector D7. Unauthorized weapon, and then the area
into
that
ghost mode.
okay, you switch from the ghost mode, and as soon as you guys make me deck saves as lockdown doors start to close this foyer space around you.
Shit.
19.
All right, you slip out through the door. You slip out through the door.
13.
You slip out through the door.
10.
You just barely get through the door. And you guys can just take, make it like splits of
What's
bills.
going
It doesn't
on in
matter.
there?
Doesn't matter where you go, but you guys can just kind of run off into the crowd.
Sounds like someone's got an unauthorized weapon in there. Just get out of
That's
here.
not good.
That's
We don't
not
want to be
good.
around those unauthorized weapons.
There's about to be a lot of police around, so we should skedaddle.
Cool. Well, welcome to the Mythcore Stellar Cruise Line Z-Class cruising ship.
Extravaganza.
This is going to be basically a big floating space station. Every amenity you could think of will probably be here at a much more significant price. Everything here is super expensive because you're buying it on site here. As you guys are about to leave this place where the doors are closing, everyone roll me a perception.
Where's that?
He's with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
10.
27.
Yeah, on the way out, you were like, come on! It's like yanking him through.
22.
What did you roll?
10.
Not nat 20.
Cool.
16.
Yeah, I'm going to start imagining, since you just made that part of your character, that you're like, oh shit, we got to keep the ship with us. So you start yanking him around. He is not good about that, though, so your character's always having to pull. You guys both notice through the light, a couple of figures run up to the door, slamming on the door right as you go. One of them is a guard. Another one behind them is that same troll kid with the like rebreather bottom mouth, the one without a mouth that you guys, the one that you enlittled a minute. Ran away. Yeah, so it like gets the window and slams, and it like looks at you two, and then like ducks out of sight. So
Good times.
So he's on our tail?
Yep.
Interesting.
We should
Everybody,
get going.
yeah. Roll a. Do you have history? You have intelligence? What intelligence skills you got? Investigation.
No.
I have a 4 history.
Just roll me an intelligence.
Okay.
This is specifically
Dang.
to your background. You can roll with advantage. Why not?
13. No. 13.
The
13.
there's probably some sort of tracking device on you guys. They've been too good at following you, and if anything, that marauder, that Trollkin marauder, just piggybacked off your signal to teleport himself up through the space.
Mm-hmm.
So
They have to be tracking us.
they've been
Success.
right on you. He's clearly set up for some sort of deep space survival. So he can that troll specifically probably climbed on the underbelly of of your ship and like rode it out there.
That is not the last time
I turned
we
my
will see him. I
Goggles
say.
to true sight, and I'm gonna scan all of us to see if I see any kind of. tracking
You
device.
see a invisible little ball of magic energy, and it's sitting right on the back of each of your like spines. It's a magical effect. It's not like it's not a device. It was created by a device, but it's some sort of magical effect. So you'll need
Can
to
you get rid of it?
yeah, like a remove curse,
Dispel magic, something like
dispel magic, yeah.
which is.
God, magic is not honest.
That's something you can buy here. You can go to one of the cleric stations on board. They have different healing regiments for the different things you want. It's
I'd
expensive.
like to get this shit off of me.
I mean, beyond this troll guy, is this going to be a place that orcs travel to or allowed to travel to?
The orcs, if there are orcs on this ship, which is unlikely, they're going to be unaffiliated with this group. What you do know, what Adam knows specifically about these orcs is that you guys, we're going to be fine because they wouldn't. And Adam's like, it doesn't matter. They won't stop. So they won't stop until they've lost their entire blade. They'll kill their entire family before they let their prey best them. So he says, if anything, we've put all these people's lives in danger.
The mission is
that's not a
simple.
problem.
We kill them first
Yes.
before they
Of
kill
course, it's simple. Why don't we just kill the troll?
But that's an option, and I'm sure we will at some point.
It's a much easier one than, I don't know, shrinking him and
That's
putting
right.
him in our
That's what you're
pocket
trained
or-
to do. That's what you're paid to do.
I just want to shrink people.
Yeah.
Killing
These
the
are such
troll.
silly
Everyone has their own
approaches.
job.
Why don't we just...
And mine is to
You
find.
guys make your way to
Archaeological
a
surveys.
multi-tiered food court area that is essentially the open air tavern beer garden of this place, and you guys can kind of grab a table and a human female waitress will come up to you guys and will ask for your orders, and you guys can drink or not drink or whatever. They don't really care, but you can have a little bit of just kind of that normal life kind of stuff. They hand, they can bring you your fries or whatever you order.
Great.
And you
I'd
can
like
form-
some
Good to have
blue
a normal
milk,
life.
please.
you guys can formulate a plan. So to give you an idea of what is available to you in this place, just an idea of gameplay styles. We're going to spend all of next session. We're going to spend all next session traveling for sure. I'll probably break it up into scenes, and we'll kind of randomize how much trouble we get into next time, or do we? I don't know.
Ooh.
Get out.
Show myself.
But while you have downtime on this ship, or while we're playing, you guys can search for augmentations for your cybernetics. You can try to. There are lots of places and people you can steal from. There might be even contracts that you can handle. There is a gallery of standing in this space, but it may not. I won't operate on the timetable. So you can probably contact a curator and maybe get a lower tier contract or something.
Yeah,
But-
I'd love to see...
But also remember that the way your stuff works, since you haven't produced results yet, it might also cause them to be like, "What's up with your current thing?" So there is a little bit.
Right.
There's a little bit of risk there.
I would need to, at some point, get in touch with my contractor about the contract that I'm under currently.
You
Like
you
to have some
can't.
words about
Well, we
it.
talked about this.
Yeah.
You the only way you can get in touch with them is to kind of like John Wick, get up in their face. So
Well,
that's a
right.
matter of like when you want to. That's more like a mission that you'll have to execute.
So right now it may not be a problem. It just might be if
They will probably
I'm
wonder.
about to find out if it's a problem, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay.
You don't know what to expect from them,
Okay.
and they have been fishy. So I would say that your instinct would probably say that.
Contact a curator.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Those are the only people you can never get in touch with the person who gave you the contract.
Right.
You have to like beat that out of someone to figure out who
Right.
that is.
Okay.
You can interact with the curator, but there is a chance that they will ask questions about your current contract. So
sure.
that's just I'm just letting you know because we won't do that tonight. We're probably going to shut down
Yeah.
pretty soon. Yeah, you guys could try to steal equipment and vehicles. You guys could try to buy equipment and vehicles. This you could try to find the shady underbelly of this place. Every place has one. I won't say that exists with outward knowledge, but of course you could hunt that down. There's a casino on board. There is a spaceship dealership on board. There's some high, like if you wanted to go full like steal from the rich kind of thing, this would be one of the places. There is also going to be basically a small army on this ship. So be careful. You got your arm. You have your gun. The stakes are incredibly high.
Drop my phone.
And Adam just looks at all of you guys and goes, I'm just so pleased, my friends, that to have you as my family and to be able to carry on the legacy. Whoosh, and the whole ship is going to shake. And you hear the sounds of claxons and people gasping because a ship this big shouldn't move like that. And above, kind of like in an, like the what's the game with the baskets and the balls and the hoops? The basketball arena, those big mega TVs they have, jumbotrons. There's one of those. There's like a big holographic projection, and it shows an outside glimpse of the ship. And you guys see that Juggernaut class orc blade that is just like slammed into the side of the ship. And the camera kind of zooms in, shaky cam style, and you can see troll cam marauders, goblins, orcs. They're all boarding the ship.
Oh my god.
So we'll go ahead and end the session, and you guys can see everyone's like, "Oh no!" And people in this area are starting to run. There's basically like, this is
We're under attack.
Yeah, and this is crazy as fuck. This is something that doesn't normally happen, and normally an orc ship, like you can all be like, "Oh no!" Like, and this is strange because normally an orc ship would not attack a ship this close. They should have already been intercepted by
How
fleet
did
of cruisers.
this even happen?
There are long-range ships that escort kind of out of distance, both in scanner range. They should have something bad about this. They should have.
So the paladins want them here.
That's a good inference. Inference.
He's on another loop.
Yeah, we gotta stop him.
So and with that, we'll cut back to a smash cut to a close up on an orc who's sitting in a control room filled with green and purple lights, and this is the patriarch of this clan.
Cool. Fuck him.
Yeah, and basically he's like he says, just like offhandedly, he's got kind of like a cool and calm, collected vibe, kind of like a Thanos type. He's not like super angry. This hobgoblin comes up to him and says, "We prepared the assault, my lord." It's all in subtitles, obviously. And the orc says, "Where are we found? Basically, we found the murderers." And he says, unfortunately, we lost them when they entered the ship." And he just takes the hobgoblin's head, and he's just going to smash it. And when he crushes his head like a melon, all the other like goblins and hobgoblins on the they all just kind of like disperse and like get back to work like extra diligently. He says, "You're relieved of duty." He's gonna throw the corpse, and that's what we'll end our session.
So casual.
You guys will also, on the way out of this area, will have been able to pick up a handful of items that were accidentally dropped by patrons. If you guys want to grab those real quick.
Yeah, give me some stuff. Give me the loot.
I got a new book of magic items. I got a new book of... These are...
Bats.
And just start throwing bats.
I don't think Lucy's interested in stuff really at all.
For sure.
Come on, Clyde.
You don't have to. You find a bag on the ground.
Full of bats. You dropped.
It's a little leather pouch, and inside the pouch is a little zipper.
Right. Fanny pack of.
It's a fanny pack of beans of jumping. There are 6 bags in this bean. Bean bags. There are 6 beans in this bag, and you are allowed to eat one as a free action and cast jump on yourself.
That's cool.
But you have to complete one full meal before eating another.
No, you go crazy.
You don't think.
You can also plant these beans.
And make more jump beans?
Yeah, can we have more of them? Oh.
You don't know what they'll do, but you can. Magic beans.
Magic beans are dope.
I prefer
Right
not
in our
to eat
hydroponics
beacon
bay.
Yeah.
You find also, at first you walk right by it, but you twist your scanner, and it's a very magical little belt. It's a belt of insignificance. This simple brown leather belt appears to be well worn. While wearing this belt, other creatures have disadvantage on perception checks to pick you out of a crowd or a group.
I wonder if our Borg should take that.
Either that or Adam.
It's a
True.
logical choice.
And
She just hasn't proven to be very stealthy. Is all.
So it's not
But it only
stealthy.
works in a group situation, so if she's like off by herself.
Right.
you also find a
Adam's
in one of the emergency like corridors. There are these like little pods with, even they put out a fire or whatever the situation is. Defibrillators, magical stabilizers, that kind of thing. You find this one's been picked over. There's a pair of big like moon boots. Yeah, and these are boots of hole clinging. They can affix your character to any large, medium to large size ship, and orient you as if you have gravity, respectively. So you can even jump when you wear these. They aren't just like magnet boots.
Okay.
They basically manufacture a small radius of gravity that only works for you.
I'd be interested in that. Sounds good for hacking.
So you can run around on top of a ship and cast spells and crap without having to worry about flying off of it. If you do jump into like a void space, you could. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Mayor Robin Bobin, our sweet.
Oh,
sweet
man,
Sweet
Robin
Mayor
Thank you
Bobin.
Bobin.
again,
Oh,
Red
sweet.
Nebula
Yeah.
Pictures, for hosting us. Very cool.
That's cool.
We love you guys.
Appreciate ya.
Just, let's see. Actually, I do not think we'll have D&D this Sunday.
Because it's Easter?
It is Easter.
Are we-
Actually, we don't know
Okay, we might.
if we will.
We might.
Holiday
Thursday,
Indy.
We definitely won't.
Thursday, we definitely won't.
Yeah.
No, I thought I had to perform that wedding on Sunday, but it's Saturday.
This is an interesting conversation.
Huh? Yes. Officiating a wedding this week.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Easter Bunny one shot. That's a good idea. I
Easter
love
Bunny
killing
one
Easter bunnies.
shot.
I love evil Easter bunnies.
Always eat.
I should play Chrysanthemum and Geranium
No, you
for
should.
an Easter one
You
shot.
should. No,
Where your
we'll
head's
play
at.
Super Deep if
You shot it down.
All right, guys. Feliz Navidad.
Suck it.
Suck it!